Hello everyone, Terra here and welcome back to my channel for another Transformers review. There you have today's figure, Jungle Guardian from Metal Jungle 05B BWM, and obviously this is Transart's take on Transmetal 2 Optimus Primal, or also known as Optimus. So starting from the box, obviously, as you can see, again you have that really nice Transart design on the front. On the side you've got some jungle painting. On the back, I'm not even sure what this is. It looks like some kind of temple entrance, which is quite interesting. I'm not really sure what part of the series this is, but oh well. Underneath, as you can see, you have a picture of the Matrix in that blueprint kind of style, once again, and some Chinese, whatever language that is. And on the top, Transart inside the middle of the Matrix. So if you've seen one Transart box, you've kind of seen them all, so let's get on with the figure. So there you have him. Obviously this is the Nemesis Prime version with the black colors, and for the most part I do like this coloration, but I kind of regret my decision picking this one, and I'll explain why. And just for reference, here he is with the really nice and amazing Hasbro original one that came out back in 1,000 years ago. And as you can see, they are really similar. And I gotta say, I really love what they've done on this version. Obviously Transart, instead of making a new design, they took one that was already pretty good, and for the most part I think this is probably one of the most accurate toys of the Beastwars lineup during the day, so I gotta say. And they've taken this and they've made it into a better version, and bravo for that. So getting right into the coloration of this figure, obviously this being the Nemesis Prime, he's black all over, and most of the part he is metallic painted, like on the shoulders, the entirety of the arms, as you can see, and these is all die cast. The legs, again, die cast. The feet, die cast, but this toe part is plastic and that's painted white. And you've got silver paint for the chest piece, and I like how it fades into black, and they have the same thing going on for the hands as well. And again, silver here, and on the back you have this white plastic here, down here, and for the inner leg, the thighs basically. And I like how they've kept it with rubber tires. Oh, and you also have some red on the inner side of the arms and on the tire, the face sculpt. My god, Transart can make face sculpts. This is 100% show accurate. I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Transart is really keen on making show accurate figures. And as for faceplate, you can also get this one, which is like a smiley face. As for articulation, the head is on a ball joint, so he can swivel, do a 360, look up that far, down that far. But if you break the sculpting, you can pretty much look at his... As for the arms, the shoulders can move up that far, and if you move this part out, you can pretty much move it on a basically 180 degree up and down. You can rotate 360 on really nice ratchets, and this part is individually moved onto the elbow. And going onto the elbow, you have a 180 degree bend on a double hinge. You have a full 360 rotation. And unfortunately, his waist is quite weak, so he keeps bending like that. And going on to these hands, my god, I love these hands. They're so show accurate. I love how they've improved from the original version, and they've made it look exactly like the hands he had in the show. And articulation wise, absolutely perfect. You've got one hinge here that allows for the thumb to be rotated, and you have another 2 hinges on the thumb, and then you have 2 hinges onto the fingers individually, and then a ball joint which allows for completely insane human-like movement, which is amazing. I really enjoy seeing fully posable hands on figures. Now going onto the waist, you have a full 360 rotation, and you do get a double jointed waist, which allows for a up crunch about 70 degrees and a bit of a back bend. Now unfortunately when I got mine, the assembly was put reverse, so instead of him getting an up crunch, he had a full-on back bend, which was a bit stupid, pardon my language. And I had to actually open up the hip part and reassemble everything to put it back together, which was a bit annoying. And another part is that this thing is very, very loose. Even though you can see what looks like it's teeth there, it doesn't actually have ratchets. So this is really loose and it kind of annoys me. Now going on to the legs, you have a 90-degree front kick, 90-degree back kick, and this little screw cover likes to pop off, so it came off there. I'm going to put it back on later. You also get a 90-degree side kick, so you can do the full splits. You do have a thigh rotation. You also can move this knee guard, and you have a, come on, move, very stiff, about 90-degree bend on the knee, and that's actually a double joint, but the inner one is so hard to move. So you do actually have a double jointed knee, but it's both ratchet joints and they are both very, very tight, on mine at least. When you actually straighten out the knee joints, it gets quite a bit taller. And going on to the last part, the toes, you have a side to side toe bend, you have a ratcheted upwards and downwards bend, and you have a toe swivel, which is on a friction joint, and they are loose. One more joint I forgot to mention: if you actually lift up the panel on the side here, you actually have a second bend on the elbow sideways, which is a bit of a weird bend. Now obviously you have articulation on the wings as well, which can be rotated, flipped up and down, but I don't really count that because it's not part of the main body. So for a little bit of size comparison, here he's next to the original Hasbro Optimus. Here he's next to Transform Elements OP Leader. So as you can see in the beast mode, well, technically he's not in the beast mode because I've straightened out the legs, but they're more or less the same height. He's just a little bit shorter than OP Leader. And here he's next to fourth party Nero, who quite towers over him. So that's it for size comparison. Let's get to these crazy alt modes he has. And I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly transform him into his alt modes. So to go for the jet mode, you just wanna straighten up the hands, just like so. And now you wanna just come to the back and just untap this whole section. Come on. Like so. So this whole section is gonna rotate on itself, and then you just flip down the jet mode cockpit, and you have two tabs here on each side, and they just go on and rest on those two tabs on the side of the shoulders, like so. And then you just want to adjust the weapon so that it's facing forward, and just set it down. And that's pretty much the jet mode. Now unfortunately, as I've mentioned before, the waist joint is really weak, so it keeps on falling down like that, so that is quite frustrating for me. And you just fold out the wings like that. So there you have him in his weird looking jet mode. Now it does have some cool gimmicks, and these two pegs like to come undone very often and easily. So you can open the cockpit right here, and if you have like a small figure you can set it in there, which is pretty cool. And of course you can use the gun gimmick, so if you press down on this button, these two massive guns come popping out. And for some reason, I don't know why, but mine doesn't seem to have the LED function, so you should be able to turn this and it should be turning on, but it looks like it doesn't even have the ability to turn. It's like on my copy they've removed it for some reason. And now to turn him into the weird looking truck mode, you're just gonna fold the wings back. You're gonna come here to the back. You see these two tabs on each side. This is gonna rotate and it's gonna peg into that slot right there on both sides. And then you just wanna flip the toes back like so. And as you can see, again, the waist just likes to wiggle, 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 which is quite annoying. And then you want to come to the front, open up the shoulder pieces, lift this up, and you just want to rotate this entire section around so that the head is facing inwards, and just set it back down there and close these back down. And now, as you can see, you have a tab here and one on the other side, and you have a small hole on the tread, and you just want to align it. You might want to flip the fist to the side to be able to actually do it. So it should be staying there like so, but it just comes off really easy. So moving on to this part, now you just want to lift this up again and you want to fold it onto this joint so it folds onto itself and it just rests on top of the body, and then just lock it down with this part and rest the gun on top. So it should look something like this, though for the most part it just looks weird and silly, and nothing seems to be able to stay in one place on this figure for some reason. Though I gotta say, it does roll quite well. I really do like the rubber tires, so that's pretty good. And now for the last transformation, to turn him into the robot mode, just straighten out the legs, like so. And then untap them from each other. So straighten out the knee joint, flip these pieces back around like so, and hopefully now he'll be able to stand. Come on. For some reason it always feels like one foot is longer than the other. I don't know why or how. So that's pretty much the legs done. Then you just want to fold the arms down, open the shoulder pieces up again. Sorry, actually you want to untap this first, and then you want to rotate the top around like so, and you want to rotate this part like that, come back to the back again and just flip this piece around again so that the chest piece is like that, and just flip the head back like so. Then come back here again and just flip that gun there for the time being, and you want to rotate the shoulders so that they land on the upper joint like that. Do this on this side as well, just rotate the shoulder around and it should lock in there. So now let's move this out of the way, and this cockpit area is just gonna go in the center and it's gonna be the chest piece. And there should be, if you can see it, due to lighting, there should be two tabs here on the back, and they go into two slots on the bottom side of the gun, and it just stays there in place. And then you want to flip the head around, rotate the head. Yeah, I have made a mistake. So this should be moved all the way up so it actually covers the gun nozzles. And then what you want to do is you want to pull this back if it ever comes undone, which is really stiff, and you want to rotate it around so that it turns into this kind of backpack. And last but not least, you want to come to the hands and just open up the fingers and rotate the thumb around. And there you have Optimus in his really nice looking robot mode, and I really like what they've done with the design. Though I gotta say, it is a bit of a disappointment on how weak that waist joint is, and it's really annoying that it keeps wobbling around while you're trying to transform this thing. And another negative thing is that some of the tabs just don't want to really stay in place. Like the ones on the shoulders, they come undone really easy, and the whatever tab exists on the top part, it just comes off really easy, like so, which is a little bit annoying to say the least. Just to zoom in on that amazing head sculpt, I really love what they've done. Obviously this is extremely show accurate. Now unfortunately you can only change the helmets, and for the most part they are pretty much the same. I think these two, yeah, they are the same. So I don't know if they've sent me a wrong part or something, but now I should have been able to swap the face as well, but I do not actually have any other faces to swap to. So big negative on that. So I'm not sure if that's an issue with this print or if there was an issue with my order. I never managed to find out, and that's probably the reason why I'm gonna stop buying from Baba Bobo. It's been quite a few months now and they haven't sent me anything, they haven't responded anything, and it really annoyed me, so I'm officially quitting from purchasing toys from them. Plus they've added one more thing with the shipping, which is quite annoying, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail on that. So as for articulation, you pretty much have the same points of articulation as the beast mode, as I've shown before, so I'm not gonna go over it again. But this time he is a bit taller because you have the extended knees on that double joint. And for the most part he's very poseable. And unfortunately you have the waist issue, which is incapable of holding his weight. And unfortunately they have not included a ratchet joint on this, which, considering how many stiff ratchet joints this thing has, it's just a disappointment. As for size comparison, again he's with the original one. Unfortunately I have lost the head of the robot mode on this one, so I'm just gonna keep it in that mode. It's pretty much the same size anyways. Here he is next to OP Leader, and as you can see they are now more or less the same size. I mean, Optimo is a bit taller on the shoulders, so, but overall that's pretty much the masterpiece size nowadays. And again, here he's next to Nero Fourth Party, who is a much bigger action figure. So now to summarize, yes, you do get a very show accurate figure with amazing paint, like you do with all of the Transart figures. And to be honest, this is what I would like to see Hasbro doing with their updates of old figures now that they've brought them back again. But unfortunately, I don't know if that's an issue with my copy or it's just a general issue with the black version of this toy. All the consistencies that I have just brings it to the negative side. So some of the parts are very loose, others are way too stiff, and the lack of extras that I get with this figure, and also with the waist issue and the non-existent LED, it just brings it quite down. So I'll probably just give it a 2 out of 5. And that's me being generous, to be honest, just because I really enjoy this character. So that's all, folks. I hope you've enjoyed the review and look forward to the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.